Thank you for that kind introduction. It is an honor to be with you today. As chair of the board for International Cities of Peace, I bring good wishes from the leaders and peace teams of nearly 400 member cities of peace in 70 countries on 6 continents. The Visioneers International Network is evidentiary proof that beneath the violent headlines, there is a rising of peacemakers, a gathering of the like-minded, an intellectual, spiritual, physical changing of the guard, an evolution of humankind to what we are evolving toward, humankind. 14 years ago, when we started International Cities of Peace, there was an epiphany, an awareness, a vision into hope for the world. The ideal of a city of peace is an ancient thought, a Jungian archetype for what humanity seeks. Peace in the world, peace in our countries, peace in our cities, and peace in our hearts. International Cities of Peace did not originate the ideal of a city of peace. It was created by early humans, those who first decided that our basic drive to survive would be better served if we could thrive more than survive, if we could elevate our consciousness to an advanced reality. The City of Peace ideal was born thousands of years ago as a prototype for conscious living. And today, International Cities of Peace provides a means, a platform, a way forward that lives in our hearts and provides the way to achieve the world dream of peace that is common to all of humanity. One of the greatest peacemakers in the world, Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., spoke of the world house, a place where we must all survive communicate, accept the challenge, and forgive. He was quick to point out that love is ultimately the only answer to mankind's problems. His vision of the beloved community is firmly fixed in the evolution of peacemaking. Yet, as inspiring as his visionary leadership was, it is we, you and I, who are left to take action. Practical peace building. That is what I'd like to talk about today. Our task, in my view, is to visualize how to effectively put in place a culture of peace that is practical and sustainable. More generally, we need to implement new strategies for fulfilling the promise of humankind. The COVID-19 pandemic has given us a wake-up call. It is one more way we have learned, along with many other potential existential threats, that we must accelerate change in the way we organize for peace. Just as technology and industry are changing at a rapid pace, peace must evolve quickly. It must change before our challenges overwhelm us. Peace work must evolve quickly. We must find the best strategies. We can no longer simply rely on nation states whose essential mission is to compete with other nation states for resources and dominance. And we can no longer rely on telling people how to find peace. The world is too diverse. Cultures have individual natures. Our strategies for achieving global peace are worn out. And as we know, time is short to achieve the unity that is essential for cooperative success. That's where cities of peace comes in. Villages, towns, and cities are the organizing units closest to our family units. The objectives of our communities are very straightforward. Keep our families safe. Make sure our children are not hungry and have a roof over their heads. Provide the highest quality of life, such as clean water and education, so that each individual can find their purpose. This is how International Cities of Peace defines peace: safety, prosperity, and quality of life for each and every person in the community. These are the consensus values of peace around the globe. Peace is about freedom from harm, freedom from want, freedom from oppression. Peace building at the community level has immediate impact. Needs are known, solutions come from cooperation between all sectors of society. Peace building means supporting schools and health clinics. It means taking care of orphans and those at risk, including refugees and those affected by war, poverty, and hunger. It means teaching nonviolence and the golden rule. Imagine 1,000 cities of peace, each with teams of citizens in situ or in the situation, on the ground, where they know the needs of the community and can find unique solutions. Peace in community depends on citizens that live in the community. The future is theirs to decide. The old technology of peace building is failing. Much of the billions of dollars telling people how to find peace has been wasted. When the money is spent, when the outside volunteers are gone, the community is often left with a sense of abandonment. The truth is, the people in every community must carry on. They must continue the work for peace when the eyes of the world are no longer on them. They must be inspired and fully responsible for their own community, their own future. How can we fully embrace this essential fact that it is up to each community to find peace in their own way? How do we organize a purposeful world without dominating? As the ancient adage teaches, give a person a fish, feed them for a day. Teach them to fish, and you will feed them for a lifetime. Our greatest challenge as peacemakers: how can we, in the age of COVID, teach the world, in effect, to fish? How can we decentralize the dynamic of community and meet the challenges of providing safety, prosperity, and quality of life for everyone around the world? How can we ensure a sustainable peace? I'm pleased to report that International Cities of Peace is fully embracing a decentralized strategy. We have turned the usual NGO dynamic of centralized control on its head. Instead of a top-down bureaucracy, we identify and encourage community leaders to build volunteer teams to find solutions to the basic needs that only those living in the community can really know. We have achieved success in many areas. We've been recognized with special consultative status with the United Nations body for NGOs, ECOSOC. Peace, in our view, is not just a hope, it's a community right. Hundreds of international cities of peace, in situ leaders, on the ground leaders, understand the social, economic, and often the political factors that affect the lives of citizens in their communities. They understand the needs and are in the best position to know solutions. The challenge is to find community leaders that are vetted and trusted, that have a track record of practical community work. It is a two-way partnership of mutual respect and action. International Cities of Peace has many successful case studies on how this two-way dynamic works. For instance, early in this difficult year, as COVID-19 began to ravage the world, one city of peace asked if they could help others less advantaged cities of peace during the crisis. In Nanjing, China, the City of Peace team leaders inquired if there was a city-to-city program where the people of China could provide resources to stop the spread. Upon a suggestion, it was decided that there would soon be a great need in Africa to get in front of the virus before it devastated that continent of 1.2 billion people. As a decentralized NGO, we were immediately in contact with trusted leaders in Nigeria, Uganda, DR Congo, Kenya, many other at-risk communities. Within days, City of Peace leaders in Africa sent their unique solutions to stop the spread of COVID-19. These solutions range from providing thermometers and soap to installing central washing stations and providing rice to rural families that would soon be in lockdown. Nanjing many grants quickly began to flow to over 30 Cities of Peace communities through leaders that had been vetted after years of volunteer work. The city-to-city mini grant program was a major success. It was fast, it was flexible, it was measurable, and without corruption. The success of International Cities of Peace mini grants from Nanjing is a harbinger of the way NGOs must operate in the future. The in situ, or the on-the-ground peace leaders in the community, suggested how the funds could be used to make the most positive difference. Best of all, after the funding for the mini grants ran out, the leaders kept on working to inform and educate about COVID-19. They volunteered in ways that motivated more volunteers and extended the compassionate reach of those in Nanjing even to this day. Giving those leaders a fish was not the point. They knew how and where to fish. We respected their understanding of community. We simply helped them help themselves. Our leaders were building the infrastructure of peace, safety, prosperity, and quality of life for all. That is how peace can be won. Nanjing's extraordinary city-to-city program was definitely a harbinger of the future and how International Cities of Peace operates on the ground. As humankind evolves to the next level of empathy and compassion, the role of peacemakers must also evolve. At the core of peace building is respect for others. COVID-19 has shown us the necessity of organizing our world to face the challenges and danger the future must surely bring. A great sage who lived in China 2,000 years ago perhaps said it best: consideration for others, taught Confucius, is the basis of a good life, a good society. Consideration is the lasting basis of peace. Respect is the basis of trust, and trust is the basis of building a lasting culture of peace. I am absolutely certain that the peacemakers on this call are choosing a higher purpose, a more noble role in the attainment of global peace. Safety, prosperity, and quality of life are the consensus values of community peace in your community and around the world. Our teachers, our first responders, our civic leaders, our technologists and innovators are all on the job. Many more communities around the globe are embracing the ancient ideal of becoming a true and historic city of peace. We're headed toward 1,000 cities of peace in 100 countries by year 2025. I hope you'll help. It is a vision that is attainable, sustainable, practical, and evolutionary. I appreciate you giving me the consideration of your time and attention. I return that respect. Peace be to you and to yours. Thank you from all the leaders of cities of peace around the world. Thank you. As I've said, we're currently approaching 400 cities of peace. That's in over 70 countries, all 6 continents. So we have grown organically over the years. We haven't done any advertising. What we've done is create a platform that cities of peace around the world can use to develop their own peacemaking within their own community. And that has resonated with people. The ideal of a city of peace is why we have grown. So our goal is to grow to 1,000 cities of peace by year 2025, and we're on track for that. We're going to be able to do that. We have to upgrade some of our technology, which is going to occur this year, but at a certain point, people will be able to come and they'll be able to establish their goals and objectives and create a web page within International Cities of Peace. It's all free, and they'll be able to begin working in their community. So why become a city of peace? We have a vision, mission, and goal. First of all, our vision is to ensure everyone's right to the consensus values of global peace: safety, prosperity, and quality of life. We haven't had any pushback for this definition over the years because everyone wants to be safe. Everyone wants to be able to feed their family. And everyone wants to have a certain level of quality of life, for instance, clean water and housing, in order to achieve their purpose. So everyone to achieve their purpose. And if we had just simple safety, prosperity, and quality of life around the world, there would be global peace. Our mission is to build this scalable network of on-the-ground teams committed to peace building in cities of peace around the world. And that's what's happening. There are City of Peace teams developing strategies and implementing strategies and measuring that strategy, modifying it so that it's more efficient. Our goal is to certify and recommend that these thousands of self-organized, and that's a really important word, self-organized municipalities as cities of peace in order to put in motion a tipping force for global peace. And I think that's when it will come. When the communities engage with each other and create peace within the community, then that is the makings of global peace. That is the oneness, the integrity, the strength. So cities of peace, the reason we chose cities is because it's the closest municipal unit to the family and the individual. It's the core of a culture of peace. And Lao Tzu, from the Tao Te Ching, defined it: if there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. And if there is to be peace in the cities, there needs to be peace in the neighbors, between neighbors. And if there is peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. And if there is peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. And those are profound words. Many of you have heard it before, but it's very cogent to the idea of International Cities of Peace. The first city of peace I'd like to highlight is Zihuatanejo, Mexico. And that is in the Guerrero Strait. And the leader, Wendy Carvajal, has just announced a new peace education package for cities throughout Mexico and Central America, Spanish-speaking peace education. And I didn't know about this until it was posted on our Facebook site. And it's just one of the things that come in each week, 50 or more emails with new initiatives and new situations that need to be clarified. So we'd like to honor Wendy today. The next one is Franklin Township in the USA, City of Peace. Tulsi Maharan is organizing Peace Day events for many, many years. But Peace Day is very important to all cities of peace. At the end of September, we compile a bunch of photos and videos and create an amazing panoply of wonderful events that teach peace, that celebrate peace, and that provide the next year of initiatives through the City of Peace network. So what is a culture of peace that is so relevant to International Day of Peace in September? We call it Peace Day, Peace Week, Peace Month during the time of September. But there are 8 specific tenets of a culture of peace laid out by UNESCO at the United Nations: education, sustainable economic and social development, human rights, equality between men and women, democratic participation, understanding with tolerance and solidarity, participatory communication, free flow of information, and peace and security. These are the tenets of a culture of peace. If we had them, we'd be much closer to a more peaceful world. The one thing they did not address directly was spirituality and the different religions, and that's a very difficult situation around the world. It has become very divisive, and so we have instituted the Golden Rule, which is do for others as you would have them do for you, and many other ways to say that. But it's been embraced by all spiritual traditions. And when people sign a letter of intent, the Golden Rule is a part of that. The next city of peace I'd like to highlight is Paul Bosolwa in Kawempe, Uganda. They created a city of peace not long ago, but they're planting trees, they're teaching education on sustainable gardens, sustainable agriculture, and so they're focusing on climate. That's just one of the different ways people are creating a City of Peace initiative. And as we said, we never tell people what to do, but they know what's needed in a community. It has to do with respect. So the next one is very close to my heart because we received in 2018 a call from China, and in Nanjing, which is one of the 4 traditional capitals of China near Shanghai, and they had a traumatic experience in 1938. They had an invasion and 300,000 people were massacred. So they have an institution, a memorial hall. And Professor Liu Chang is a professor at Nanjing University, and he contacted us, and I worked with him, and we've become great friends. I've been to China 3 times, and they've given me a warm welcome. And now they have 3 cities of peace in China. And Professor Liu Chang has initiated the first Journal of Peace Studies in China, and I'll be part of that. It's just a wonderful relationship that we've been able to build with people in China, peacemakers in China. It's very important to our future that China embraces the idea of a city of peace. So I'd like to give honor to the professor. The next thing we'd like to talk about are what are the benefits that people get when they establish their community as a city of peace. There are substantial benefits for the people around the world, for the leaders and for the peace teams themselves. They get a supply of information about peace activities around the world. They get affirmation. In other words, there's a lot of peace people who are not as overt in their public display, so we are able to affirm people's peacemaking, and they achieve a level of connection that they're not able to do without this kind of network. And they achieve legitimacy and authority within their community, and they get asked by the newspapers to do editorials, and they get the phone calls when there's something that happens. So the peacemakers gain voice. And we have an education called the Skills Development Program with things such as mastering the Golden Rule and the Sustainable Development Goals. We also have funding options. We write letters of recommendation after 1 year where we're sure that people are actually working for peace. And funders really appreciate the fact that we vet the people that we give recommendations for. There's a whole online learning aspect. There's this global presence we have, and there's a public relations benefit to becoming a member of International Cities of Peace. And there's a huge peace community that people talk to one another. There's city to city, just like the Sister Cities program, city to city two-way communication and support. In addition, there's UN representation. We are in special consultative status with ECOSOC, the United Nations body for NGOs. So that gives us a lot of opportunity with the New York headquarters and around the world, especially UNESCO. So that's another benefit. And what we want to emphasize is this is totally free. We are not here to make money off of international cities of peace around the world. We are here to provide services, to provide tools and resources for those who decide to work for peace in their community. The next community I'd like to emphasize is Kajika in the Amazonas of Colombia, City of Peace. Piedad Guzman is a strong protector of human rights in that area. There's over 100,000 people who have disappeared during the wars in Colombia. And Piedad has been a consistent and strong voice for those people who have disappeared and for human rights for children and human rights for women. The next is Sedona, Arizona, City of Peace. Margaret Joy Weaver and three of her colleagues started it back in 2012, and they have developed so many different platforms for peacemaking in the world. They created a magazine called Imagine, which is based in peace building. They have a meditation day and morning where people can come from around Sedona and be a part of that. And there's many, many other initiatives that they do in Sedona. The next one is really special, Dandora, which is the largest toxic dump in Kenya. And these are kids who live in that dump. And there's 5 phases. It's so large that there are 5 different communities, and each of those communities have become City of Peace in order to work within their area, which is called a phase. So I suggested that maybe if they got together and unified and worked for peace as a unit, that they might be able to get more funding and things like that. And they have created a tremendous organization, a unity organization. These are the 5 leaders, and those are just some of the kids who live in that community. There are thousands. And so I just want to say that, you know, the city-to-city ideal where cities work together is a big part of International Cities of Peace, and it enables people from Europe to work with Africa, for Africa to work with the United States. A lot of different things are going on with that. Now the next thing, you know, that's what we came here to hear, how to establish a City of Peace. What is the process? And the process is very straightforward. It's intended to be very simple, 5 steps, but it's very profound. The people who go through this process have always said that this has created a new life, a new structure for how they live and how they work in their community. The first is you get signatures on a letter of intent. In other words, you create a peace team. Then you write a vision, mission, and goals statement for the city. And this is where people have to really think about how they work for peace in community. And this is what separates all the cities of peace. Their vision, their mission, and goals, it's all unique. Every single one of them is different. So they send photos and captions of local events, and they submit a photo of the leaders so that we know more about them, and they write a peace legacy for their community. What are the challenges? What are their solutions? And we're going to be able to put this online so that people can use International Cities of Peace website, internationalcitiesofpeace.org, as the way to communicate, not only to people outside, but people within. And so we're working on that right now. This is the letter of intent, which is a document that focuses on the UNESCO tenets of a culture of peace. And people fill in their municipality and they get signatures. There's a couple of signature pages attached to it. And we have the option of having a peace proclamation by the city mayor, the city commission, the chief of the village. They can proclaim an international city of peace. It's not required. Some places it's difficult to get the government and the grassroots organizations to work together. So this is something that can be an objective or it can be accomplished immediately. So the next City of Peace I'd like to honor is Westerly Pawcatuck in the United States, City of Peace. Frank Thacker, he is a very humble man. I've become friends with him, but he put together a nonviolence podcast, a blog, The Daily Peacemaker. and he's created episode 18, and he hopes to create a classroom where he can talk about King and Gandhi and people like that. But that's how unique each of those cities is. Each city has an amazing idea, and they follow through, and it changes them, and it changes the world. So the next one is close to my heart, Kanani, Uganda. Ronald Kayimba is a very dynamic individual. He took the Golden Rule course that's on our website, and he really took to the idea of the Golden Rule as a healing and curative instrument that's ancient, and it's also modern. So he's created Golden Rule education, and it increases empathy and compassion and the engagement that we need in order to find unity in our cities and in our world. So the last one, Makurdi, Nigeria, Dorothy Akinde. She just received funding based on a recommendation from International Cities of Peace to a grantor for a human trafficking safe place. So we're very pleased with that. A lot of the Cities of Peace get funding based on our recommendation. We are not a grantor, but we help people find grantors and make recommendations, and hopefully most of their activities are volunteer, but sometimes you need a little funding.
Thank you for listening. I know that was a lot to take in, but there are many other Cities of Peace. Those are just ones that came in over the last couple of weeks with just an update. But, 360 Cities of Peace, all of them working in different ways. That's a lot of material for case studies and a lot of material to prove that International Cities of Peace is a viable and productive peacemaking organization. The Cities of Peace case studies are all over the world, 70 countries on all 6 continents, South Korea, Somalia, Brazil, New Zealand, Indonesia, and more. And we have several dreams. The first, to have safety, prosperity, and quality of life, the consensus values of peace, become the goal of humanity. Number 2, stop regional conflicts at the local level before they metastasize into the region, into the world. And number 3, building the infrastructure of peace, the roads and bridges through which peace may travel. In order to get to 1,000 Cities of Peace and beyond, we need additional technology. We need to upgrade our website. We need to automate some of the processes right now that are very manual in nature. So there's 2 ways to really help. One, establish your city as a city of peace, which is a very profound opportunity. And number 2, if you can donate, please do, because this year in particular, we need extra funds in order to upgrade our technology in order to achieve our goal of 1,000 Cities of Peace by year 2025. We can do that. We're on our way. So, peace is possible, one community at a time. I thank you for listening, and peace to you and yours. www.internationalcitiesofpeace.org. Thank you.